Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Abdilah Bagus, my student number is 50, and today I'd like to give you my summary of articles that I've read before. So I'm going to show you these articles. Okay, I'm separate the articles into two topics. The first topic is online media for learning English, which consists of 5 articles. And the second topic is understanding students in teaching, which consists of 5 articles as well. Let's move to the first topic, online media for learning English. Okay, the first article is titled Best Digital Platforms in ELT During New Norms Era for Remote Area. The objective of this article, the author tried to discuss the best platforms that can be used for e-learning in remote areas during the pandemic. Considering the pandemic COVID-19, e-learning is must. However, it becomes a problem for those who have a bad signal or live in remote area. The objective of this study is to figure it out what the best application that can be used to classified by students' preference on digital application. The findings is between 3 applications that had been compared, the author found that WhatsApp is the best application for teaching and learning. It is because WhatsApp passed the criteria of practically, usability, and economy. In conclusion, the author said that all participant students agreed that WhatsApp is the best platform based on those 3 criteria. Next article, the influence of using podcasts toward listening comprehension. The objective of these articles, the author intends to discuss the comfortable way to learning listening for non-native speaker. This is because listening is a basic skill which makes it hard to speak if they don't be able to listen. Podcast is one of the many ways that the author tries to discuss as comfortable platform to learn listening. The objective of this research is to see whether there are any significant difference for students who are learning with podcasts. The findings: the author found that podcasts are affecting the student learning style, which makes them more comfortable in learning listening. The conclusion is that podcasts can be used as media to learn and increase students' score in listening comprehension. The third article is about media. Students' perception on the implementation of ORAI application in CLL method in teaching speaking. The objective of this article, the author attempt to discuss the speaking skill that is being taught in Industry 4.0 in order to communicate with people all around the world. Teachers are seeking for the greatest approach to make students feel comfortable when they're learning to speak because they still have anxiety. The purpose of this today is to determine the students' perception of the usage of ORAI application in teaching and learning speaking, and as well how the orchestra of the ORAI application into CLL method is implemented in speaking practice. The findings: the author found that the formula in implementation ORAI application in CLL method in teaching speaking RLCR, which comprises 4 stages: recording, listening, correcting, and repeating. The results of the survey show that the students had a favorable attitude on using the ORAI application in CLL approach to teaching speaking. Okay, the next articles: investigation the role of ICT for teaching English at elementary school. The objective of this article, the author intends to discuss the improvement of the modern world and change everything, especially in education. There is a new way of communication with technology as an important role in ELT. The objective of this research are to stimulate the teachers to enhance their language learning, to see if ICT can create the interest of elementary school teachers in studying English. to highlight the role of ICT in teaching and learning situation to facilitate the learners and to make teachers more motivational, self-disciplined, and help them formulate ideas. Okay, the findings. The author found that there are still several problems in use of ICT. The factor is exposed that accessibility of information and communication technology surface and elementary teachers' consumption of ICTs are very limited, which is a serious restraint in excellent instructional service delivered. In conclusion, the author said the implementation of ICT enhance student performance and also teachers' opinion is the basis. Facilities such as internet need to be available. The fifth article, memorize, promoting student autonomous learning skills through language learning application. The objective of this article, the author tried to discuss the memorize application, which is a software that can be used by students to learn English autonomously, as long as they connected to the internet. This is because to master English language, students cannot only learn from what is being taught in classroom. They need to learn from more sources to support their autonomous learning skills. The purpose of this article is to explore the use of memorize, a language learning application, to improve students' ability to learn independently outside of the classroom, particularly in English learning. The findings of this article, the author found the use of online learning applications such as Memrise can boost students' willingness to learn more, especially autonomous learning. Memrise is a really effective method of English language learning that can be tried. In conclusion, the use of Memrise is very helpful for the students' language learning process, especially in enhancing vocabulary. Memrise is also provides students autonomous learning skills since it can be used anytime and anywhere as long as it's connected to the internet. The second topic, understanding students in teaching English. The first article, listen, do, repeat, understand, and remember. Teaching English to very young children. The objective of this article, the author intends to discuss the problem of learning English for very young learners because some parents think that it is really challenging for toddlers to learn foreign language while in the process of mastering their own language. The purpose of this research is to study teaching methods that are used by teachers to teach toddlers, especially in vocabulary. Findings. The author found that total physical response (TPR), followed by natural approach (NA), communicative language teaching (CLT), and suggestopedia (SG) were usable method to be applied in toddler class. The observation found that TPR were the most used method in classroom activities and everyday commands. To sum up, the author said no need to force toddlers to speak using NA method as they will speak when they're ready. The second article, analysis the use of instructional media on teaching English to young learners at elementary school. The objective of this article, the author is intended to discuss using instructional media in teaching English because most of young learners feel bored to learn from books. Therefore, the teachers may be pleased to use any media that related to the material on purpose to learning. The objective of this research is to find out how many media were used in class and the teacher's preparation for the media for being used in class. The finding, the author finds that the most important preparation for teachers are matching and mastering the material and the media that will be presented in the classroom. Examples such as book, to practice reading and writing skill students, picture or things to increase vocabulary, and video media is a match for speaking and listening skill students. The atmosphere of the class should be fun with the learning objective, so it might be reduce the boredom of the material. The third article, analysis of the factors influencing student motivation in learning English. The objective of this article, the author tried to discuss the most influential factor in learning English as foreign language. It discussed because students who are learning EFL may have a different level of motivation. If the teachers could find out the most affected motivation factor, it will be more acceptable to developing EFL in students who have different levels of motivation. The objective of this research is to find out whether or not teachers affect the motivation the students in SMAN 8 Makassar to learn English. Encouragement affects the motivation of the language. Finding out whether or not the group dynamics affect the motivation of students SMAN 8 Makassar to learn English language. Finding out the most important that affect the student motivation in learning English at SMAN 8 Makassar. The author major findings are: teacher significantly affects the student motivation learning English language at SMAN 8 Makassar. Parental encouragement and group dynamic does not significantly affect the students' motivation in learning the English language, and teacher is the most important factor of the motivation in learning English language at SMAN 8 Makassar. Okay, the fourth article, the teacher talks in teaching reading comprehension. The objective of this article, intends to discuss the importance of teacher talks in reading class in order to make students feel at ease in the classroom. This is significant since the job of the teacher is that of facilitator. It makes it necessary for teachers to speak in classrooms. The purpose of this research is to find out what teachers talk used to in teaching reading comprehension for 9th grade students in order to make them comfortable. The findings. The author found that teachers' talks were dealing with feeling, praising, and encouraging, using ideas of students, repeating students' verbation, asking questions, giving information, correction, without rejection, giving direction, criticizing the student, behavior, and student response. Okay, the last article of understanding students. The implementation of mind mapping technique in teaching writing. The objective of this article, the author intends to discuss writing skill is the hardest skill in learning language for EFL students. This problem is caused by several factors such as grammar, punctuation, limited vocabulary, and limited time to practice. So these articles want to see how many mapping techniques is learning writing may affect student understanding. The purpose of this research is to examine how mind mapping may be used to educate students how to write narrative text. The findings. The author found that mind mapping is very helpful to students in writing narrative text. In using mind mapping, students got so many ideas to write. In conclusion, the author said, in the beginning, the students didn't know how to draw mind mapping. After several guides, the students are able to write narrative text after doing the mind mapping. Okay, I think that's all for the 10 articles that I've read, the summary of 10 articles that I've read. I think that's enough for me. I'm Abdilah Bagus Ramadhan signing out. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.